Hello. Happy New Year and happy birthday. Thank you for the heads up. Hopefully the delivery goes well and everyone's healthy. So let's get into the performance. What's good, what's actually not so good. And unfortunately, we have the issue we've been trying to work on still there. And that issue is your spacing of the notes when going from your, in this case, F sharp string to the B string. So it seems like you're good at 160 beats per minute. You are good at 165, but things start to fall apart at about 170, and it's definitely apparent after the break you took. So I'm going to get ahead to that part again. 175. And I got a couple suggestions here. And we'll get into that in a second. How to do that. So playback speed, half speed. Hopefully you can hear that you were putting a space between going from the F sharp string to the B string. This might be where the break happens. Here we go. So, hang on. So instead of it being da 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 dum da 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 dum, you're back to doing da 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 dum da 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 dum. So, one thing we're going to do here, this is supposed to be played at 160 and no faster than 160. And also, a goal of being able to play this whole thing plus the resolve note. That's another thing. And this comes into attention to detail. Attention to detail. Attention to detail. Not once, not one time did I ever hear you hit that resolve note at the end. I mean, it's basically the same idea here. Let's see. I screwed up. No, wait. Well, that is what I needed. Never mind. I thought I saved over it wrong. Anyway, I never heard you play this note. Not once. So I want to make sure that you, I mean, that's there because, well, to me it sounds nicer, but also, again, attention to detail. So I want you to focus on hitting that. Like, here on out, tough love time. If you don't play the resolve note in your videos, I'm going to ask you to just do it all over again, okay? Yes, it is that important to me. It's there for a reason. So, couple things. One, as I said, was the goal is to play this whole thing cold, no warm-up whatsoever, at 160, and hopefully that'll help train your fingers to play things more naturally. So this bar is twice, that bar is twice. I don't know if we've done this symbol before, but just in case you don't know what it is, that means play the previous bar again. Plus the repeats here. So all of that, plus the resolve note, no warm-up at all. But that doesn't mean you start with that. Certainly work things up here. So how are some ways to do that? You could use, play along with Guitar Pro, which I think is a good idea. Play it at 50%. Make sure you can play all that at 50% perfectly, and then try it at the 60%, get it perfect, 70%, get it perfect, and so on. You could also just play this part, work that up the usual way, 60, 65, 70, 75, and so on. or maybe even as much as this. Don't want to go too far though. Like I don't think it's necessary to play all that going up in fives plus the repeat. But that said, you could try working all that up, no repeat, going up in fives, and then when you get to 160, add in the repeat. So those are a few options. Let's recap that. So you can just use Guitar Pro, which is a good idea, so you can hear exactly how everything's spaced. Play it at the 50%. That includes the repeat. So play it at 50%, get that perfect, and get it perfect at 60, 70, and so on. Another thing you can do, just work up a couple bars, maybe 4 bars, work that up the usual way, 60, 65, 70, all that. Or you could work the entire thing up without the repeat and do that 60, 65, 70, 75, all that. Once you start to feel more comfortable, another thing you could do is can you just try playing only that at 160 without a warm-up. Try playing that 160 without a warm-up. And basically add 1 bar at a time. So I would say maybe after 2 or 3 days of practicing the whole thing by working it up a bit, then start making your warm-up by playing 1 bar at 160, then add a bar, add 1 bar, add another bar. Now that I'm saying that out loud, let's do it like this. Like if you do the percentage thing, or you build it up in any such way, make sure you reach 160 first before you start doing the start cold and just do a bar at a time. The other thing to suggest, just in case you don't know how to do this, so export audio file, like whether you do MP3 or MIDI, export one. As I want you, if you can, take the MIDI, import it into your recording software, and play along with it. This way you can see where you are lined up and where you are not, if that becomes the case. So when we get back into trying to speed this type of thing up, basically we're going to go back to the one from last week. When we do that, I want you to follow the MIDI track, like record it, have the MIDI imported, follow it, because unfortunately you're just not getting that timing down. And we're right back to the same situation as before. It's not getting better, it seems like, because it just keeps happening. So I want you to try that. This has worked very well for somebody else who was having a similar problem, and being able to visually see what's going well and what is not, huge help. Huge help. So maybe not the greatest thing to hear, but we all want to hear it was great. But for everything was good up until you got to 170. So most of it was there. So we got to tweak it. So I can't remember when the timing issue crept in the first time it happened. So to say that it's not getting any better, that's not fair. Have things gotten better? Yes. But the fact that you're still missing it, that's going to hold things back. And that's what we need to fix. So it hasn't been corrected altogether. That's the thing. That's what I mean. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. 160. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go. Good luck to you. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you again next week.